Hey brother! Last week, Pixar's latest film, The Good Dinosaur, hit theaters, and since then I have been bombarded with the question, how does it fit into the Pixar Theory? Well, I've seen it twice now, once in 3D, once in 2D, and am ready to give my thoughts on the matter. If you're not familiar with the Pixar Theory, it's the idea that every Pixar movie exists in the same universe and on one giant timeline, and every movie is part of one enormous story. You can catch up on the entire Pixar Theory in this video and see how Inside Out fits into the mix in this video. Also, please be aware that this video will contain massive spoilers for The Good Dinosaur. You've been warned. For a long time, the Pixar Theory has started with Brave and ended with Monsters, Inc. Or Brave again, depending on how you want to look at it. But I believe that as of The Good Dinosaur, we have a new starting point. The Good Dinosaur claims it's telling the story of what if the asteroid that was supposed to wipe out the dinosaurs missed. And indeed, right out of the gate, we see that asteroid passing harmlessly by the Earth. And in that scene, we see a bunch of primitive-looking dinosaurs, like the kind we'd expect to actually dig up fossils of. Then, we're told millions of years pass, and we're introduced to characters who have now evolved out of that primitive state and developed things like agriculture and ranching. And bravo, dinosaurs, really well done. But this is the Pixar universe, and we learn in Brave that fate is a big part of the Pixar universe, and that it's very difficult to escape your fate. And what do we here in the present know the fate of the dinosaurs to be? Extinction. So then the question is, if the asteroid doesn't cause the dinosaurs to become extinct, what does? My guess? Man. And weather. Actually, mostly weather. Climate change, really. That might sound crazy, but the movie is actually dropping hints all over the place. Yes, this particular story follows the stunning and beautiful friendship between dinosaur and boy, but if you take a look around at what's happening in the rest of the world, there's a lot happening. First off, one of the things you may have noticed is not all species have evolved into this intelligent, able-to-talk status. Only the apatosauruses, the pet collector, the rexes, raptors, and pterodactyls can talk. The rest of the creatures we see just look like wild animals. In fact, the apatosauruses have actually started domesticating a chicken-type creature, aka cluckers, aka Arlo's worst nightmare, aka Footless Fran. She only has one foot. The T-Rexes even have their own herd of buffalo, but despite the obvious intelligence difference between different species, one species seems to be defying the odds. Man. Of our two main characters, Arlo, an 11-year-old apatosaurus who was raised by somewhat educated parents, and Spot, a 5-year-old orphan who's having to figure out everything on his own in the wild, you'd think Arlo would be the more capable of the two. But no. Time and time again, Spot proves he is the way more capable of the two, whether he is fighting off snake monsters, gathering berries, hunting food, tracking buffalo, teaching Arlo to swim, the list goes on. It's pretty impressive considering he is the younger and smaller of the two in a world where size matters, and it doesn't go unnoticed by the other dinosaurs in the film. The pet collector immediately tries to recruit him as one of his pets for protection, and the Rexes offer to trade Arlo for him. We also see that some humans are a little bit more developed than others. At the end of the film, Spot is adopted by a different human family. Oh, it's so sad. And these humans are different than Spot in a couple of ways. One, they stand upright rather than walking around on all fours, and they're wearing furs instead of leaves. Using furs indicates that they were able to hunt and skin an animal, which pretty much means they're capable of using tools. They don't seem to be able to communicate in any sort of sophisticated way yet, other than grunts and howls, but otherwise they seem to be like on par intelligence-wise with the dinosaurs. Plus, after seeing Spot, the smallest human we see in the whole film, hold his own throughout the whole movie, I can only imagine how capable the older humans are, and in numbers. Now, I just mentioned that the humans can hunt, and that I think that they're responsible for the downfall of the dinosaurs, but don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that man hunts dinosaurs to extinction. I think what ultimately kills off the dinosaurs is everyone's mutual enemy in this film, the weather. I'm not familiar with the weather patterns of the Teton mountain range, but I have to imagine that in today's world, they are not getting hit with daily storms the likes of which we are seeing in this movie, that take out the entire mountainside's worth of trees, dust storms, snow, thunderstorms, what looks like a freaking hurricane at the end, constant flash flooding. I mean, the weather in this movie is crazy. Now, to be fair, we don't really know how long Arlo's journey takes, but it doesn't appear to be more than 2-3 weeks at the max. And for him to encounter that many, like, catastrophic level storms is kind of ridiculous. But it does explain some things. For example, why there aren't that many other dinosaurs in the film. Arlo only meets 3 other intelligent sets of dinosaurs, and when you kind of examine it, each encounter kind of reflects the scarcity of life in the area. The pet collector, for example, is a Strachiosaurus. I did some research on the breed and discovered that they actually normally travel in herds, and yet here we see him all by himself, and scared to death, mind you. The pterodactyls say they used to have normal names before they started following the storm because, what do we say? The storm provides. This suggests they used to be able to hunt with ease, but the storms keep wiping out the population, and that leads them to the revelation that they need to follow the storm to get the fresh meat. The T-Rexes are solving their food problem by literally herding their food supply around with them, a commodity that is apparently so valuable the raptors are trying to steal it from them. Heck, even the Apatosauruses have had to resort to farming because they can no longer feed themselves through winter because the climate is changing. Ramsey even says around the campfire, the first snow has come early this year. Now, many people have already critiqued the film for getting the evolution wrong, saying that humans never could have evolved at all as long as dinosaurs roamed the earth, that dinosaurs would have to die off in order for humans or mammals to fill that ecological niche. Fair enough, but 1, it's a fictional scenario, so... And 2, watch the movie a little closer, because as we just went over, all the evidence in the movie actually is pointing to the dinosaurs dying off. The dinos can't handle the storms, while on the other hand, even the smallest of humans is shown to be very capable out in the wild. Not to say they are invincible, though. We never get a clear answer for what happened to Spot's parents, but my guess is they were taken out by a storm and not by some big dinosaur, simply because Spot isn't afraid of a big dinosaur like Arlo. Now you might say, well, he just recognizes that he's an herbivore, but he doesn't. Remember, he tries to bring him meat to eat at the beginning of the film. Of course, it also could have been the pterodactyls, because as soon as they appear, Spot starts hiding, and they do smell on Arlo one of the juicy ones, meaning they're familiar with the scent of humans. However, that would still be a combination of the weather, because at that point they're following the storm. And that's pretty much it. The movie itself is about a boy and his dinosaur, but the movie's greater contribution to the Pixar theory is how humans began. The Good Dinosaur isn't the story of what happened if the asteroid missed. The entire Pixar continuum is the result of that asteroid missing. That's why the Earth we see in the Pixar universe is a little bit different from ours. Evolution started a little bit differently. And my question for you and everybody else is, what did you think of The Good Dinosaur? I would love to see your reviews down in the towel section below. And also, did I miss anything with the theory? Are there any issues, any plot holes we need to adjust for? Let me know down below, and I will see you in another life, brother.
These socks are amazing!
Guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. And if you're not already, please subscribe to make sure you don't miss any future additions to the Pixar Theory.